Hi, thank you, Katie, for joining me today. We're talking about the True Health Detective.com Practitioner Profit Program. You've been participating in the program for a while now, so I thought it'd be really neat for you to be able to share with others what your experience has been and what you've noticed or what you've valued. The very first thing I want to ask you, because just about everybody that is interested in the program asks, is are they going to have a good grasp of how to use the medical medium information in an effective and efficient way? And I wondered what you thought as far as your experience with the program has been.
Well, first of all, Judy, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to spend time with you and to share about this amazing work. It is mind-boggling, Judy, how much I have learned in the time that I have been working with you. And I do just want to say that I am a longtime practicing psychotherapist and yoga instructor and energy healer. So I already was a practitioner and pretty much considered myself, I in my little blurb, I was a holistic counselor who also worked with, nutrition and herbs and all these different pieces. But oh my goodness, it is incredible what I have learned since studying with you. And that goes back to when I, joined as a client with you. It just blew the roof off of what I was understanding, because I was already really making tremendous gains with my health, with the medical medium information. But yeah, I did not, there was lots of things about, he has, is it 7 books now, 6 or 7 books? So much information. And those books, some of them are like textbooks with, it's so jam-packed. It's just impossible, or it felt impossible at that stage for me to really be able to have like a really good grasp of it all. Or, and I thought I was grasping it until I met you. And then it was like, it bumped it up to a whole new level of understanding and appreciation. Like, just for instance, things like I know a lot of people, and I was one of them that would say, I've been, following medical medium protocols for this amount of time. But until I met you, I really wasn't focusing on hydration. I really wasn't focusing on low fat. I really wasn't focusing on my adrenal glands. And I see that with a lot of people. So you really, really bring in like that holistic way of looking at it, so that we're not, and I see this on some of the medical medium social media pages where people are just focused on their thyroid, let's say, or even just focus on EPV or strep. And, I learned how they all kind of work together and how to work with all of that in a really comprehensive way. I just can't say enough about how much more I understand what Anthony Williams has been trying to teach, because it's so complicated, and you were just able to make it really digestible for me. Yeah.
We find that often, don't we? We are trained to be focused in a medical model way where things are pieced apart, and we're focused on just one thing without remembering how all the other pieces come together and bring the whole picture into alignment with where we want to be.
Exactly.
So I really appreciate you addressing that, because that's really important to me. Yeah. For those that are going to be studying with me, to recognize that we have the ability to look at it differently in a way that serves us. Mm-hmm. What do you think about all the subjects covered in the program? Did you find them all useful? Did you find that even if there were pieces that you didn't need or weren't useful, that it was still of value, the whole program?
All of it, absolutely. It is a wealth of information. And I have to be, really to be honest, when I first started with you with the practitioner program, I was about a year into my own healing. So I still had a degree of brain fog. And I was like, oh my goodness, I'm never going to be able to appreciate, understand and all of this. So there were parts of it that, I just knew that it wasn't yet for me at that point, but it has come to be over the time that it's been 2.5 years now since we started, I think, or almost 3 before you know it, with the practitioner program. So yes, I would say that it's amazing, Judy, like how you manage to do like this vast, comprehensive overview, because you really have the business part in there big time in terms of, really helping people get more comfortable starting a practice, and just like the ethics of it and the boundaries of it. And then for those of us who are already practitioners, so much information about how to bump it up to the next level with technology and with doing online types of video classes and modules like you do. And I haven't fully moved into all of that, I think largely because I've just been incredibly busy. Things have exploded for me as a practitioner since being able to integrate all of this information. So I was just saying to you the other day, I'm just being curious about when I'm going to be able to bump it up to that next level with the online part and all of that. So to your question, yes, there's pieces that I wasn't ready for yet that I know I'm going to still be moving into. And there was just so much information about so many different areas too that Anthony maybe mentions, but doesn't go greatly into depth. Like some of the sort of like, I've learned so much more about using herbs and herbal tinctures. I've learned so much more about homeopathy. I knew about these things and would use some of them in my work, but have learned so much more. I've learned so much about, I love that, client specifics, because there are, of course, these foundational pieces that we know will really pretty much serve anyone, no matter what the challenges in their health are. And so that was my focus in really learning that initially. And then to begin to feel like I have some, like not just some, but a really comprehensive working knowledge of how to apply this to really specific issues like diabetes. I live on a Caribbean island where it is through the roof, unfortunately. And I'm working with quite a number of people with diabetes, and I have been thrilled to be able to give them such a different perspective than they were getting, at their doctors. And they were struggling and fighting with themselves about their food relationship. So with diabetes, there's just so many specifics. Judy, I would also add, one of the things that makes me so excited is that as a psychotherapist, I have worked for, I want to say like a lifetime, with people who have, dealt with, who had PTSD, post-traumatic stress of various sorts, from all different sorts of trauma. And it could be like the chronic from way back when, or it could be, we've survived a couple of devastating catastrophic hurricanes on the island where people lost everything. And I myself experienced the post-traumatic stress from those experiences, and I did not understand the physiological part of it. And it just makes me so freaking excited to be able to really bring that piece in, because most people, when they're walking in my door, they've just had so much stress and usually a fair amount of trauma in their lives as well. So to be able to offer the emotional support, the energetics, the mental, the questioning, the thoughts, but then also to talk about healthy glucose and the adrenal glands from that perspective, and things like using the lemon balm. It's kind of a miracle. I've literally had someone walking into my office hyperventilating because they were so panicked about seeing a therapist for the first time. And I pulled out water and honey and lemon balm and mixed it up, and they were sipping it while I'm having them breathe. And, they were through it in no time, a full-blown panic attack. So yes, I can't say enough for the specifics of what has been shared and what I've learned after many, 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 many years of practicing as a psychotherapist. Like this piece, it's like, oh my goodness, it's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge.
I'm so glad that you get to use it in your practice and that you're working with clients from, that physical, like food perspective, that it all just comes together, doesn't it? We get to be whole people, which is beautiful. So
Yes.
I know you, Katie, that you have really dove into using your intuition. Do you feel like you had the support you needed to be able to use that with your clients effectively?
Yes, yes. And I can't believe how much I still feel supported, Judy, after all this time. That I will say that I think it's about 25 years ago that I first started learning about, I studied applied kinesiology and muscle testing and all different kinds of energy healing practices over the course of the years. But I have to say, like, I did not have the confidence with it that I have now. And I feel like that's still coming online, even more so. But I remember in the beginning of the practitioner program, Judy, when you would talk about doing the intuitive scan, and I was like, I can't begin to imagine how you could get your intuition to work that specifically, to be able to give percentage numbers. And then I remember being blown away that you would just glance at those numbers and say, oh, you're not loving your heavy metal detox smoothie this month as much, are you? And I'm like, what? How does she know this? And now I know that, and some of it is intuition and some of it is just, well, of course it is in terms of doing the intuitive scan. And Judy, you have just backed me up every step of the way. When I first started doing the intuitive scans, had a lot of anxiety and a lot of mental noise and brain fog still in the way. It was, moving out, but it was still there. And just the fact that I could then send you every intuitive scan and still do, and you still give me feedback. And at some point within, I don't know if it was maybe 6 or 9 months, you would start giving me like, great. And it would just be this little tiny thing or 2 or 3 little things that you would say that, I got a slightly different thing, or you would catch something else. And that started to build my confidence. Like I was shocked. Like, how are we both doing this intuitive scan and coming up with the same thing other than a tiny little thing, maybe here or there? So that built my confidence tremendously. And then I started doing where I would do the intuitive scan. And for clients that I have in the office, I would actually I would muscle test a few of them so that they could see they were getting the same response. And so I've just gotten a whole lot more comfortable with all of that. And I'll finish that up by saying I can feel how that's still coming online. And I don't think I can even conceive of where that's going to take me still.
Well, I have noticed that through the program, everybody has had opportunity to take their health, their intuition, their understanding to just such a deeper level of connection. And the beautiful thing is that you don't need me really anymore because your intuition has come online and because you're hearing what your bodies are asking for more. And our ability to do that for ourselves and then pass that to our clients has been, phenomenal over the last year or so. So I'm so thankful, Katie, because of all of the individuals I've worked with, probably you get the big picture. When we do that intuitive scan and we can take a look at that overall spreadsheet that we share with clients, you get it. You really get the picture and what that spreadsheet is telling you. So I'm really happy for you, actually, because it's so powerful to be able to help people so much more quickly. Lots of practitioners talk about, oh, you're looking at 9, 10 years. And I'm like, no way. I wouldn't do that. And I'm super dedicated. So let's see how we can make this just more efficient and let people out of kitchen jail a little quicker. Right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've talked about lots of aspects of the program. Is there any other aspects that you found valuable?
Well, I would say, for my own health and healing journey, that one of the things, Judy, that I loved about your style from when I first started with you as a client, and I would call in on those biweekly calls. Like I said, at that point, I was still in the earlier stages of my healing. And sometimes I was just like, blown away by your patience, honestly, because, there's like the same questions that kind of come up, and you were just so patient and graceful and truthful about the fact that, like, every time that it could be the same old question, but something like, we're going to pull something else from you and we're going to hear something else based on where we might be at. And I feel like now that I've cleaned so much up in terms of my own toxic accumulation, I have so much more of that patience and that ability to just be present, even if it is, it's anyway. So there's no dumb questions, in the practitioner training program or in the Achieve True Health programs that you do. And that really comes through, that there's no dumb questions and that we can go back and review again. And because I would sometimes, I think we would all feel like, oh gosh, probably everybody else knows this. And you're right. And here I am. And no, there would always be like more pieces that might, come out for a greater understanding. But my own health journey, to be able to, like you said, really listen to my body and what it's saying, and then check it out with you and feel validation, and then get further information about, the different stages of healing. It was kind of shocking when the stages, like when I got through the detox, the most intense first phase, and it kind of kicked into that next stage of cleanup and repair and all of that. It was like, whoa, like everything just shifted like crazy. And I knew something had shifted, and I was able to check that out with you. And then that has happened, it's just amazing how I would feel it in my body, have some intuition about it, but not fully understand it. And then be able to get both the validation as well as like a bigger picture, a bigger understanding of it all. And then I've learned so much just from all of our health journeys, I started to just appreciate all the questions, the ones that don't have anything to do with me, of course, because chances are, well, I could be dealing with it in the future, or you never know, or with clients, certainly. So I think that's been really big, that there's no dumb questions, that you're endlessly patient, and that, like my own health journey, I don't feel the fear that I had in the past. I will also say I've been with you during this time of the pandemic, and it's been, I don't know, how I would have navigated my way through without you and our whole group, because it was just tremendous to be able to have such wise people to confer with about how to handle virus or reactions to the new medical treatment and all these different pieces. And what made me think to mention that is just my anxiety level about health. It just, it's just not really there because, and I mean, I have little things come up still, right? I was talking to you about some little bit of joint pain in my thumbs. Well, I had joint pain all over my body when I started, so I'm not complaining, but I know that there's deeper healing, still repair work still going on. And so just having a working understanding of all those pieces has just helped me to just be curious as opposed to like reactive when anything comes up. And in the early days, I was still detoxing like crazy. So I had a lot of stuff coming up. And I remember I would come to you with, oh gosh, like maybe a skin rash or something. And you would be able to just turn it around and help me to understand this is coming out of your body, and if the detox is going too fast, I understand how to slow that down now if that happens for my clients. So I could talk forever and just say, like, it completely is life-changing, this practitioner program. It is life-changing because a lot of people, when I joined it, I didn't really know how I would use it, which is true of probably a lot of things I've studied over my lifetime. But, then of course, I just can't help but want to share with the people that I'm working with. And I think that was true for a lot of people that in the practitioner program, I mean, who maybe said, I'm just going to help my family, but, then it becomes friends, and then it becomes, it's just, you can't help but share. And so that's so exciting too.
Yeah, you get to see all those beautiful results, and you can't help but want to share that with the people you love and the people you know and the people that are struggling still.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's been an interesting thing. That was something that I found really valuable that came to me with working with so many people, was the whole idea of the healing phases. And, medical medium doesn't talk about into the protocols a little further and what it looks like to move into this place of health.
Right.
Being healthy. So having the network that we have, that I'm sure will last a lifetime, and watching one another's process, it really even helped it clear up for me as well, which was a beautiful experience for me through this. Okay, Katie, I don't want to take up too much more time talking about this practitioner profit program, but can you tell me who you think would benefit from this program?
I think that almost anyone who is interested and called to the medical medium information for healing, because whether you plan to be a practitioner or whether you just really want a deeper understanding for yourself and your family members and friends, I definitely think if you're any kind of, healer or practitioner that's also interested in medical medium healing information, people who want to start a brand new practice with health coaching. We've had people really take off in like that as well, that they weren't practitioners of any kind, but they had done their own healing and were able to really get on board with this. So, I mean, I just think if the information calls to you, then yeah, it could really serve you, could serve so many different people. I'd say everyone.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm really excited in that I'm not drawn to doing the one-on-one work so much anymore, because I really love helping you practitioners really connect with what it is you want to do with the information, and how you can take your health to the next level as well. So I'm quite excited about this next round. Again, I feel like the practitioners that are participating are, coming together in a lifetime way. I know for a fact that we'll just keep adding practitioners to our network that are bringing information, bringing value, and really drawing the information to a new level, which is, to me, very exciting because we're all evolving and we're all healing, and we're done with some of these models that aren't working for us anymore. So we're creating new ones that do.
And speaking of that, Judy, I would just add, when you said, that you love supporting us practitioners with our work and our next level, in our healing. And I just wanted to add too, that what I just love how comprehensive and holistic the practitioner program is in that. And I know you do the work with all your clients anyway. And for anyone who's not familiar with the work of Byron Katie, it's just such a phenomenal tool to help us question our thoughts and our beliefs, especially the ones that are causing us stress or that are, limiting us in our growth or our healing. And so that's what I love too about working with you, Judy. I mean, it's by far, like we go into the emotional, the mental, the beliefs, the energy, just all of it. I've learned so much about, how to protect ourselves from electromagnetic frequencies and toxins in the environment. I won't keep going, but, just like you really do mean what you say about supporting us on that next level, and then again on that next level.
As much as I absolutely possibly can, because, as practitioners, we need to be healthy ourselves, and we need to have really solid boundaries and understanding about what we're doing so we really can truly help people. And that's the goal, help them to help themselves. So
that's it.
I really appreciate you sharing with me again, Katie, today, and everybody else that's going to be listening. We're talking about the Practitioner Profit Program with TrueHealthDetective.com. I'm looking forward to us including some new individuals that are keen into our network. So we will.
Me too, Judy. Yes. I just want to say thank you, and me too, because we've got such an incredible network. And for those of you joining Judy's practitioner program, it's like you'll just be amazed. And I'm looking forward to meeting you all too. But we have some amazing power hitters in our network, so that when any of us are stumped, there's always help available.
Exactly. Yes. That's what it's supposed to be all about, right? We don't have to do it alone. We just
yeah. It's so much more fun when you're not struggling on your own and stressing about it.
I think so. I have a lot of fun with everybody. Thank you. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. And again, we'll talk soon. Okay.
Thank you, Judy. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.